And we're following breaking news this hour in the Middle East. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has just announced the launch of Phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan. The CBC's Sasha Petrusik is tracking the latest developments live from Jerusalem. So, Sasha, tell us more about what we're hearing on Phase 2.
Well, Andrew, moving to the second phase of the peace plan is a plan by Steve Witkoff and the White House and Donald Trump, of course. This plan bears his name. They feel that now is the time to move towards that. In Israel, the government here has reluctantly agreed to that, although there are a lot of misgivings. The first phase was imperfect. It slowed down the fighting, didn't stop it, and it left Palestinians in a kind of limbo. Now, this second phase sees the establishment of a Palestinian technocratic government, basically something that is supposed to take over the government from Hamas and essentially just keep the place running, pay the bills, start refixing the roads and keeping the traffic moving, those sorts of things. All of the people on this committee, which was announced by Egypt today, they're all Palestinians who don't have a particular affiliation. They've had to swear that they are not part of Hamas and that they are not terrorists. So this is the kind of body that is envisioned by the White House. There's two other steps to this which are still missing: a board of peace, which would be kind of executive committee for this effort in the phase 2. Really, the executive committee to rebuild Gaza and to end the war for good. Donald Trump would be the chairman of this, and it envisages a number of other countries, perhaps Britain, France, Turkey, the leaders of those countries to actually sit on this committee and give it some political heft. That has not been named yet. The other part, which is the biggest question mark, is in fact a peacekeeping force, a so-called stabilization force, which would go into Gaza. Its big job would be to disarm Hamas and then move on from there. Now, Hamas representatives have told CBC News that they are willing to disarm and to hand over government to this body of bureaucrats, and that is something that they are going to go ahead with if Israel fulfills its parts of the bargain. And of course, that is part of the problem in all of this. And, there are still many, many questions that remain unanswered.
So it all sounds ambitious, but what are the chances of success?
That's a very, very good question, because, as I say, there are a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of loopholes or things that seem to be counting on trust. And at the moment, still, there is very little, probably no trust between Hamas and Israel, the two main players in all of this. They've accused each other of not abiding by the first part of this agreement. There have, in fact, been more than 400 deaths since the ceasefire came into effect because of airstrikes by Israel, because of some fighting on the ground. So there's still been a lot of tension and animosity that, will need to be overcome if this is going to happen. As I say, the big questions will be this peacekeeping force, without which they can't really move much further, because unless Hamas is disarmed, Israel is not pulling out of Gaza. And if that doesn't happen, none of the rest of this plan really will work. The force itself, very few countries have expressed any interest in being part of it. It is probably thankless and very difficult. One country that has suggested it could be part of it is Turkey, but that's been rejected by Israel because it's seen as being too close to Hamas. So, that is a huge, huge thing that is still unresolved. And until that happens, they can't move on to the other thing that this phase 2 promises, which is the beginning of reconstruction. Because the main Arab countries who have said that they will contribute money for that reconstruction have said that they're not going to do it now. They're not going to do it anytime soon unless they're sure that the war is actually over, and they're not sure that the war is over. Andrew?
Sasha, thank you. That is the CBC's Sasha Petrusik live in Jerusalem.